Hello and welcome to today's edition of Tuesday Newsday, a day where we review the recent news stories of the week, biggest news around, not really, just the news that I find the funniest. So scientists confirmed yesterday that 500-year-old remains that they found under a car park in the city of Leicester, I believe that's in England, although I don't know, were the remains of England's king, Richard III. A question that might come to mind right now is, what is a car park? I wrongly assumed that it's a playground for cars. It's not. I googled it and it's a parking lot, much like the parking lots that we have here in the United States. My real question is, why would they bury a king under a parking lot? Think about that one. That's rude. They must not have liked him very much. So if y'all watched the Super Bowl, you probably saw the GoDaddy ad, which featured a geek and a supermodel making out. Not super creative, GoDaddy. I feel like all your ads are kind of like that. And it was actually disgusting. It's really gross. But you know, to each their own, to each their own. The guy, Jesse, who played the geek in that ad, told TMZ that chicks have been all over his jock since the spot aired. So that's what is going on in his life now. It seems like things are going good for him. That's great. Keeping on the topic of Super Bowl ads, Volkswagen is notorious for having some of the best Super Bowl commercials. They did that Star Wars one last year, and this year they did one with the theme Get In, Get Happy, and I really felt like it could have been for a strip club, but you know, it worked, I guess. The ad featured several white guys faking thick Jamaican accents. It's because they were driving in a VW, so they turned Jamaican. This ad confused me, but I didn't have the reaction that a lot of other people did. I was like, I'm confused, but I guess it makes sense. There's a big controversy over this because other people thought it was extremely offensive and racist. Remember in the Die Hard movie where all the bad guys were Russian, like clearly Russian? That's offensive. If I were Russian, I'd say, I'm offended because you're making me out to be a ruthless killer. Whereas this stereotypes Jamaicans as relaxed, happy people. I don't see where the problem is in this one, folks. I think people just need to relax. So in other news, scientists are saying that Neanderthals died out before we thought they had. So they weren't around when people were around, like human people. They didn't breed with us and they didn't like interact with us. So the real question that scientists are dealing with now is how Russell Brand looks exactly like a Neanderthal. Easily the biggest scientific mystery of our time. In world news, in Iceland, there is a girl whose name is Blair, and that is illegal in their country. You can't name your kid something that's not on this big list of names, so they've been referring to her as Girl. The issue with this for me is like, why can't you name your kids what you want to? In America, you should see what people name their kids. For example, Eddie Murphy and Nicole Mitchell named their child Zola Ivy. Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin, their child's name is Apple. What's with this Ivy? Didn't someone name their kid Blue Ivy? Beyonce's baby is named Blue Ivy, that's what it is. Recently though, the authorities have finally given in and they're letting her go by her real given name, Blair Blarkendorf. In entertainment news, Jelena might be back together. They were caught hanging out in LA. The whole thing with Justin Bieber and Selena kind of throws me off because Justin sings a song where he says, never say never, okay? And then he has another song where he says, I'll never let you go. If you put those together, it seems like he's contradicting himself, and he is. You know, things don't always work out even for the best of us. And I did not mean the best of us in reference to Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. If you were one who DVR'd the Super Bowl and have not yet watched it, I would put this on mute right now because I'm about to share the sports news. The sports news for today is that the Ravens beat the 49ers 34-31 in the Super Bowl, and Beyonce did a great job at the halftime show. There's all the news. And in newsfeed news, which isn't actual news by any means, Jackie says, I turned the music up, I got my records on, I shut the world outside until the lights come on. And last but not least, a shout out to Facebook. It is Facebook's birthday. Congrats to Zuckerberg out there, living the dream. I want to thank Facebook on its birthday for hours of wasted time for allowing me to send messages to people when I totally should not be sending messages to people. And thirdly, but not lastly, for the games feed. Endless game requests from people that I don't even talk to. That's all for this edition of Tuesday Newsday. Tuesday. Edition of Tuesday Newsday. Newsday Tuesday.